Keila, come on up.
Hi guys,
Hey,
I'm Keila and I'm an alcoholic. That just feels like a thing to say. Okay, so I wanted to share with you guys what I usually tell drunk people. I like how Hannah shared with us earlier her sex inventory. I think the funniest thing about me is my sexual escapades. So when I got sober, I think it's relevant to talk about my sobriety and my sexual escapades. Two very important parts of me. So about a decade ago, I got a divorce, and partially because I was really drowning in cocaine, and I was really unhappy. I got a dog paw, which I thought was a lion's paw, and in Texas. And the guy was like, I was like, yeah, I'm like a lion, and he's like, yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. And he like slapped the dog paw on me, and I came back, and I told my sponsor was like, hey, like, you can't be in a relationship for a year. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, for sure. She's like, yeah, but you can, yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay, so Tinder. And she's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I was like, Tinder, okay. So in my understanding, Tinder was a hookup app. And that's literally what I thought it was. I didn't know that Tinder was like a dating app. So apparently I was doing a lot of people a lot of favors. I was under the assumption that Tinder was a grinder. So I was like on there like, you know, doing shit, you know, like making it happen. And one night I was like, okay, so I can't be in a relationship. I got to make this like totally by the book. You know, as my sponsor said, I can't be in a relationship. This is just business, okay? My sobriety is what matters. So I'm at my lawyer's fucking place in Laguna Beach. She's got a house in Bluebird Canyon, you know, so I gotta respect that house. It's solely for business. It's not for relationships, it's just a fuck. Yeah. So, you know, I invited the first guy over, Alberto, okay, probably married, first guy that said he could come over, all right? So he comes over, Alberto, and I said, hey, what's up? Like, I don't have time. I don't have time. You have to just come over, fuck me, get out. And he's like, be right there. And I was like, wow, this really efficient app. Right? So he comes over, Alberto, decent car, everything, right? So he comes over, maybe 10-minute ordeal, and it was in the car, and he didn't even come inside, so I was very grateful. I didn't even have to be intrusive to my house. You know, I respected the home. And, you know, he comes inside, and I'm like, fuck, dude, micro penis, you know? And I'll have to take it for the team. I had to take it for the team, because, like, when he came and all that, I was like, shit, he came so fast. I was like, huh? You know, like, okay, this happens. I took him to the team, it occurred, and I was unsatisfied. So I was like, okay, you know, round two. You just got to do business. You know, that's what Tinder's for. My sponsor said, no relationships, but Tinder's there. So I go for round two, and I'm like, all right, you know, let's do this. You know, then Chase, the school teacher.
Chase.
You know, he comes with a fucking guitar. All right. He's from Huntington Beach. He sings to me, okay? Spends like 20 minutes serenading me. And he's like, oh, mamacita. Like, tells me that, like, my name is Rosarita. Like, all of this stuff. Like, you know, says that he loves Mexico. I tell him I'm bilingual, falls in love with me, then, you know, starts undressing, blah, 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 blah. He does come in the room. I give him the courtesy. And then I find out micropenis number 2.
Oh.
Fucker serenaded me, dude. I had to take one for the team. So I had to be of service. Right? So speaking of being of service, I'm in AA now. I have to take one for the team. So I'm like, all right, you know, what it is what it is. I'm a grown woman. You know, I don't want to be a bad person. I'm a good person now. You know, I'm sober. I want to contribute to humanity. So, you know, I fucked around too. Same day, guy number 2. You know, I was efficient. You know, he came like that. So I was like, all right, awesome. I feel good. You know, I might have been a little bit free, but whatever. You know, I felt like an escort. I'm validated. Then I felt angry. I was like, why? Why am I wasting my time fucking on these apps? And it's not, I'm not even satisfied. No. Round 3 is going to be an army guy. I'm looking for a fucking army guy who's to fucking choke me or something. Whatever. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I found Ben. Ben, dude, special ops.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my guy. So, like, yeah. So I found him, right? And, like, Ben, he looked fucked up. In that picture. I don't know what kind of special ops he was doing. But you know, I messaged him. I was like, hey, like, so it says Army or something? And he's like, yeah, like I'm CIA or whatever bullshit thing he gave me. And so I was like, okay, yeah, awesome. Like, I'm in Bluebird Canyon. I don't know how he must have been CIA because he found his way all around that fucking confusing ass loop that you had to get to in Laguna Beach. He somehow parked his car and found his way to the fucking house, made it down the curb, all this stuff. He shows us, I'm in a robe, right? I'm like this season, I'm like, hi then. And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, I'm just gonna wash my hands. And I'm like seasoned, I'm like totally like Madam, right? And he's like, yeah. And I turn around to tell him to like get on the bed, right? And I turn around and he's like, ass us, like totally like that. And he's like, oh, baby, I just want you to lick my ass. And totally, like, this had never happened to me before. And I was like, and I'm like, well, and like a little light bulb goes off and I was like, I've never done that. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh. So I go in there and I'm like, oh my God. It was like the smoothest, tastiest, juiciest, cleanest. Like I was like, wow, man. And I was like, this is like prep. And I was like, this is okay. I gotta get it to bed. And then, and you know, and I was like, all right, you know, and he's like, all right, baby, now it's your turn. And I'm like, great, micro dick number 3. And then he's like, hallelujah. It's like the biggest fucking cock. And I'm like, oh my, it's my birthday. It did then. That was my fucking birthday. And that's the Big Dick Then stories. That special op guy, still friends today. I'm engaged now, so I don't talk to him anymore, but he's special to me. Let's just say we got far. And along those lines, sexual escapades. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I've always just been a very sexual person. And it's been hard, you know, because speaking along the lesbian lines, you know, we talked about sexual experiences and what did you say it? Like neurodivergent lesbian? Like what a trigger. Like I love that. Neurodivergent, you know, that. I hope I did it justice with my hair. You know, I think for me on that topic, I remember me saying one time that I don't do same sex because blonde girls with blue eyes, they just fall in love with me. And I hurt them. So like I don't do it anymore. Except, you know, when they're okay with like a little hookup. And the last time was this Texas Earl. And God, wasn't it Alexis or something? But I had a boyfriend and I was in active addiction. Oh, okay. Last one. I had a boyfriend and I was in active addiction. And somehow she comes up to me and she's like, Keila, I hang around you and your boyfriend so much because I really just want to hang out with you. Like, I think you're beautiful. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, like, I think you're a catch. And I was like, oh, give me 1 second. I call 911 and I'm like, hi, yeah, this guy's here. He's on crack. Like, you had to pick him up out of arrest. He's like violent. So the fucking cops come, they arrest my boyfriend. And I'm like, hi, so like, do you want to have a special night? And she's like, yeah, totally. And so like this blonde girl and I, they arrest my high boyfriend. I was so insane. Things happened that night between me and her that I can't understand. Something happened to my butthole that I wasn't sure what happened. I woke up in urine, and like my sheets were soaked. They were white, and I was okay with it. It was this experience that I had that was magical and blissful. And the next day she offered me security. And she was like, I don't know what you're doing with that loser. And I was like, I know, I don't know either. And it was an amazing experience. Too bad nothing ever happened between the two of us. It was blissful, amazing. I resulted in Nazi day. And that's why I said I don't hook up with girls. But, it was a good experience. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.